Do it in the house. You just want to do mayors first, and then we're going right across the table. Sound fair? It's not going to change what you're going to say. Anyway, Tom, please. Can you go on each time you pick up the microphone, will you introduce yourself so the people in the hall can tell who's speaking?
I will.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming out tonight. My name is Tom Peckett, and I'm running for the mayor of McNab, Braeside. Why am I running? I'm running because I believe the majority of residents want to change the direction the current council is taking us. A few of the areas I'm concerned about are respect for people. You do not ignore your residents. They're a wealth of experience and you work with them. There's not a council around that knows everything. The farming industry, I know of nothing that has been done to help our local farmers. Sustainable development. Developers having difficulty getting timely answers from the township and are continually being referred to Pembroke County office. Rising taxes. 2004 tax rate increased 2.7%. Okay? But it's not the tax rate that affects your pocket, it's the tax levy, which increased 13.57%, or $462,000 that was taken out of your folks' pockets.
How much?
462,000 plus $1,000. Finally, common sense. A flawed survey sent out by the council costing thousands of dollars with council's decisions already made. Paying Mr. Firestone $14,000 to tell us to build our own arena, library, town hall, and shopping complex. Going ahead with a boat launch after being told the location wouldn't work. I realize my opening comments have been very negative. In my closing, I will give you positive steps I will take as your mayor to change the direction the township is now heading. Thank you.
My name is Aldine Stiles. I'm on the current council. Mr. Moderator, fellow candidates, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank the Greater Armpart Chamber of Commerce for organizing this event. I stand before you with 18 years of management experience in the healthcare field and 7 years as your councillor. The following is how I intend to move forward should you elect me as your mayor. Yes, I do support establishing agreements with the towns of Renfrew and Armpart for library and recreation services. No, I do not support any proposal for an arena in the township of McNab, Braeside. I want to review the Planning Advisory Committee to make it more efficient and meaningful. In my opinion, this one committee can also address economic and environmental issues. It would eliminate the need for 2 extra committees. I would ask the farming community, the seniors, young families, the business community, and local developers to have one representative of their choice to be part of this committee. The voice of the community would be heard and ideas would come forth in the direction of how they see the township growing and developing. They would advise council, and it would then allow council to make informed decisions. I want to examine our services and determine is there a better and more cost-effective way of providing them. I want to examine our processes. Are there areas we can improve to provide better customer service? I want to make McNab, Braeside, the employer of choice by finding ways to improve the workplace. This is just a summary of some of the issues I would address should you decide to elect me as your mayor.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank the Chamber for the opportunity to speak to you about the future of McNab Braeside. But let's start where we are, and specifically with the tax base. Simply put, the tax base represents the labor and wealth of our friends and neighbors. It's your money, and our ability to report on it is key to making wise decisions for the future. We continually, things are always changing, whether we like it or not, and we continually have to adapt to that. So we have to start in a real place with real numbers. I'll remind you, when you say the township should pay for it, you're really saying my friends and neighbors should pay for it. So we have to respect that and treat it carefully. The second principle of the tax base I'd like to stress is that when we do as a community decide to invest in something, we have to make sure everyone has equal access to the facility, the service, the benefit. And right now we're not getting that across our tax base. So we have to change the way we do things. Where is your money going now? Well, about 25% of it goes to roads. 25% I'll call safety. It's the fire, the policing, the bylaw enforcement. And those policing costs are going up according to province policy. Another 25% goes to governance, administration, and building and planning. You might think of this as overhead, but these are core services that allow us to remain an independent rural municipality and can't be underestimated. And finally, the 25% goes to what I'll call lifestyle. These are the things that make us McNab Braeside and identify who we are. And over the past 8 years, we've managed to improve all our recreation facilities. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming tonight. I am Brad Macalong. I am seeking the position of Deputy Mayor. I was privileged to be elected to council in 2006 and re-elected in 2010. I was excited to learn firsthand what operating a successful township entailed, and I'm still enthusiastic with that responsibility. The running of a healthy township means a lot of give and take, and despite popular belief, considering how a decision will impact the residents. Different issues affect different people, and keeping everyone happy is impossible. One of the biggest issues being talked about is reading and recreation. The library reimbursement program that began this year has resulted in a savings of approximately $70,000. I believe with the further talks and negotiations, we will achieve an acceptable solution to the joint recreation services as well. Another issue that is equally serious, yet is just coming to the forefront, involves our police services. The provincial government has mandated that policing costs be shared equally between rural communities and urban centers. These increased costs will not provide any more services than we currently receive. A committee which consists of several of our neighboring townships is looking at viable options. Economic development is extremely important to the township to enable control of tax increases. Rumors are running through the community that current council is entering into a private-public partnership to develop a recreation complex. There have been no agreements or partnerships entered into and development of recreation complex in our township. However, I'm able to tell you that there are several upcoming projects that will bring residential growth to McNab Braeside. So do you want leadership, township decisions based on experience and common sense, or rumor and emotion? Again, I want to thank you for attending tonight and showing your interest in our community. Thank you.
Milk, bread, eggs, wait. Good evening, taxpayers and fellow candidates. I've been your neighbor for over 20 years, the owner of Len Chapeski Contracting since the 1990s, for 13 years, Mr. Dirt. I was one of the founding members of the Landowners Association, along with MPP Jack McLaren and Randy Hilliard. I've always fought for the little guy, and everyone should have a voice. I'm tired, can you tell? But to tell you the truth, the community, again, we fought for seniors, were bedridden and couldn't fight for themselves. And this bunch of people were with the LLE
So, as well, having been a heavy equipment operator for over 40 years, road building supervisor with companies such as Ashland Oil, Warren Bichulevic, Tolan Hewitson, J.M. Grant, and the pipeline. And I have the first-hand knowledge and experience to deal with the people and the companies in a diplomatic fashion. I'm running to fight for the families and rights of taxpayers and their families. Please vote for me. I want to work for you. And I'm a talent-like type person. And I hope that I have spent many days and evenings calling on many people, and I got a true vision of what's needed. We need a whole new council, just how it is. Thanks for your time.
Good evening. 4 years ago, I stood before you and said, I have the ability, determination, desire, and dedication to serve as Deputy Mayor for the Township of McNab, Braeside. More importantly, I'm free of personal gain and agendas. I will base my decision on facts and ensure the outcome benefits the township as a whole. I will support the volunteer community, the heart of McNab, Braeside. These reasons still hold true for today. I also know that I'm a no-nonsense Deputy Mayor with a direct approach and the mindset that issues in our township are far too important to be beaten around the bush. I know that following the process, be it the Planning Act, the Municipal Act, or the procedural bylaws, is the most consistent, cost-effective, equitable, and beneficial path for all involved. I hold advisory committees in the highest regard. For this reason, I, as myself being a standing member, I ensure recommendations come before council. Though I may not always support these recommendations, it's extremely important that our views are heard. I know I can make the easy and popular decisions as well as the tough and uncomfortable ones, such as pulling funding from the Armpire Recreation contract, when essential information required to make an informed decision was not forthcoming, and supporting a library reimbursement contract where in 2013 we paid out approximately $9,000 between both Armpire and Renfrew, and as of September 6th budget, we spent $10,710, a substantial savings. I wonder how many of you would pay $90,000 for a service that cost $11,000. Yet there are members and there are candidates who want you to do just that. What I've learned in this 4 years is by incorporating a community design, our township can still thrive, and we need, most importantly, a planner to assist with our commercial and residential tax base. Thank you very much.
I hope we don't have to hear that bell. I'll be short. My name is Brian Armson. I'm running for Deputy Mayor because I think it's time for change. Mr. Moderator, fellow candidates, friends, it's an honor to be here this evening before you. As I've been going door to door these past few weeks, people have been asking my opinion on this issue or that. But as I leave, I keep asking a question of my own. What is it that makes a good council? A good council is representative of its people. Ignoring the voices of 2,200 voters, which is about half of you, who wish to extend the transfer agreement for library and recreation services with Armpire and Renfrew, is not representative of its people. A good council has its constituents' best interests at heart. Allowing the buffer zone of the Miller Quarry to extend into people's land, thereby restricting their use of their own property, is not the decision made in the best interest of its constituents. A good council seeks the opinion of its constituents on major issues. I'll ask you this. Were you or any of your neighbors consulted on the idea of a new rink complex? Does the current council really know if this is the will of the people, or perhaps it's just the will of the council? A good council works with its constituents and its neighboring communities. The Economic Development Committee resigned. The Recreation Committee boycotted several meetings, both due to the frustration in dealing with members of council that chaired them. I think it's safe to say that thanks to the actions of this council, the relationship with our prior has, to put it mildly, soured. I hope to change all of this. In closing, I'd like to leave you with a quote from Albert Einstein. He said, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. It's time for real change." I thank you for your time.